I'd like to call this meeting to order. Mrs. Norian, would you lead us in the flag salute?
Yes, ma'am. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sunshine Law statement, all requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been met for this meeting of the Board of Education of the Borough of Oradell. Notice of this meeting was filed with the record in Town News and all persons requesting such notice. Mr. Darian, would you read the mission statement?
The Oradell Public School District is dedicated to the ongoing pursuit of educational excellence through comprehensive, innovative curriculum and instruction. The district is committed to providing opportunities for social, emotional, and academic discovery to foster curiosity, courage, and character. Our goal is to prepare our students to become lifelong learners who are self-directed, resilient, productive, responsible citizens.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mrs. Meagham,
Here.
Mr. Griffin,
Here.
Mrs. Levy,
Here.
Mrs. Norian,
Here.
Mrs. Shapiro, Mrs. Walker,
Here.
Mr. Walsh,
Here.
Mr. Darian,
Here.
Mrs. Nichols.
Here, we're open to the public for agenda items only at this time. If you are online with us, please raise your digital hand.
Megan Rosius, Principal, Oradell Public School, and I just wanted to share with the board today how excited I am about two of the hires that you will approve tonight. Replacing a special area teacher, especially two special area teachers that have been such veteran members of our community, was a daunting task. These individuals, just like an administrator, will touch 750 lives, and I couldn't be more pleased with the quality of the two individuals that will be joining our community next year. I'm confident that both Tara and Erin are going to help make fine arts a part of our school and a part of our children's lives. And I just wanted to share how pleased the administrative team is with their hire and how much we are looking forward to welcoming them to our family.
Thank you. Anyone online? Okay, moving forward, just a reminder, we all have to do our financial disclosures by April 30th, I think, right, John? Okay, so April 30th, if you haven't done it, and we'll move to the superintendent's report. Business administrator's report.
No report.
Moving to minutes, review of March 24th. If you have any questions or comments, please email our business administrator, Mr. Marmora. We have approval of meeting minutes for March 10th. Would someone like to make the motion?
I move that we accept the minutes of March 10th.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Norian. Any questions? Call the question.
Mrs. Meagham,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Mrs. Levy,
Yes.
Mrs. Norian,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker,
Yes.
Mr. Walsh,
Yes.
Mr. Darian,
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols.
Yes, committee reports, buildings and grounds, Mr. Darian.
Yes, nothing new to report. We did not have a meeting since our last public meeting, but the meeting minutes from back then are included in the packet. That's all I have.
Thank you. Curriculum, Mrs. Norian.
Yes, we have not had a meeting, but I had mentioned that we need to have the minutes distributed to the board. I don't think that those from the last meeting have been distributed. And I believe that it would be helpful for the rest of the board to have the report that was given to the committee, because I think it would be very
Yes.
helpful for the whole board to see this.
Yeah.
So if you could.
Can that be
take care of
emailed? Can that be emailed to us?
Yeah, we have it.
Or just maybe put in our packets? I don't know if we want to email it necessarily, but
Yeah, we do have it. We
Okay.
have it, yeah.
Just, I
Or
just think
deliver
that
it.
it would be helpful for the rest of the board. Other than that, I guess we're good.
thank you. Finance, technology, Mr. Darian, you want to take that from Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes, we've had no meeting since our last public meeting. So with that, I'd like to make a motion to introduce items D1 through D4.
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Walsh. Any questions? Call the question.
Mrs. Meagham,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Mrs. Levy,
Yes.
Mrs. Norian,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker,
Yes.
Mr. Walsh,
Yes,
Mr. Darian,
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols.
Yes, delegate report, Mr. Walsh?
I have nothing to report, but there's a couple of meetings coming up that I will report on.
Okay, let us know if there's any resolutions you're going to be voting on. Personnel, Mrs. Walker?
Yes, thank you. We had a very productive meeting this evening, and the minutes, I'm sure, will be in your packet shortly. And with that, I'd like to present F1 and F2.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Walsh. Any questions? Call the question?
Mrs. Needham,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Mrs. Levy,
Yes.
Mrs. Noria,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker,
Yes.
Mr. Walsh,
Yes,
Mr. Darian,
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols.
Yes, policy, Mrs. Levy?
Nothing to report.
Public relations, Mr. Griffin and I had a discussion this today, so I think we're gonna just follow up on that discussion. Maybe you, me, and Greg can meet.
That
See where the
sounds great.
future of the PR committee is headed.
Yeah, it sounds wonderful. And on the COVID,
Task
ahead.
force, go ahead, yep.
no new meetings since our last meeting. Our next COVID task force meeting, it looks like it's going to be the first week of May. After the adjustments to the schedule, we'll meet and have a report after that.
So you're gonna email us when the meeting's gonna be?
I will.
Okay, we are open to the public. If you are joining us through Zoom, please raise your digital hand. Okay, moving to old and new business. Any old or new business from any board members?
I have a question on the, just wanted to understand if the COVID task force was, had any collaboration or, had any inputs to give as to the change in schedules, et cetera, that's happening starting April, in the next couple of weeks.
I think there've been lots of areas of input that have been given on that. The school has a COVID task force, and the building that the principal runs, and then we also were able to meet in terms of just higher level. I think the board is not in a position to make any kind of recommendations on this. Our recommendation has always been, how do we keep our kids safe and get them the best education as possible? And so we look at things like that, but we were not directly making any direct recommendations on that.
Got it. Thank you.
Mrs. Levy?
Thank you. I just wanted to comment on, we just voted on the Personnel Committee report, and may have noticed that we were, I don't know if maybe not today. Oh, yeah, for some additional help for Mr. Butcher. And I just wanted to say that as a parent and a board member, that today I received some of the updates that we will be doing in terms of musical and instrumental music during as the kids come back to school. And I think a lot to his credit and to the administration for sort of giving him the leadway to do that they've come up with some new and innovative ways for the kids to learn in person and at home, including bell covers for your instrument and outside and stuff like that. So I know that many parents I've heard are really appreciative of that. So I just wanted to give kudos here and thank you very much. And also, we approved a former teacher tonight to be a substitute back here at the school, Miss Choka, and happened to have bumped into her during the pandemic at a field hockey event. And she was really missing. She always came back for the turkey trot and field day and everything like that, and was disappointed that she wouldn't be able to necessarily substitute. So glad to see that, even when they leave, teachers want to come back. And so that's definitely a good sign. So that's it. Thank you.
Any other old or new business?
I do.
Mr. Darian?
So, yeah, as chair of building and grounds, I think ahead in terms of the building. And I know that we have some list of items we're wanting to address during the summer. But shortly after the summer, we're going to be back in school, and the governor has stated that we're going to be back in person and the virtual instruction is not an option. So I just wanted to bring up to the superintendent and staff, if there's anything that you would need from the board, and as an example, the COVID task force, from a COVID perspective, do you need any direction from the board regarding what to do in September now that we're all going to be here? Or is there any other items that may come up that you may need some board direction on or decisions on? I'd just like to, start the thought process now as opposed to being in reactive mode, come this summer. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any other old or new business? Any need for a closed session?
So
All right,
I move
then.
we adjourn.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
By Mr. Walsh, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
I like how I've taken over for Jean.